The moment his rough hands touched the piano keys, something in the air shifted. You wouldn't expect a janitor, his uniform stained with bleach and sweat, to play like that. But as the melody filled the empty music hall, even the silence seemed to breathe. And sitting beside him, a little girl with unseeing eyes tilted her head, smiling as though she could see the music itself. What neither of them knew was that behind the glass wall upstairs, her mother, the cold, unfeeling CEO, was watching, tears she'd sworn never to shed slipping quietly down her face. It all began a few months earlier. Daniel worked nights at Crescent Academy, a school where the children of the elite came to learn ballet, violin, languages, and everything else money could buy. He wasn't supposed to be seen. His job was to mop the floors before sunrise, fix lights, and leave unnoticed. Yet every night, as he worked in the music room, his eyes always lingered on the grand piano. It reminded him of his late wife, a music teacher who had taught him how to play simple tunes before cancer took her away. One evening, as Daniel was cleaning the music hall, he heard soft tapping, like footsteps but uneven. Then came a small voice. "Hello, is someone there?" It was a little girl no older than 9, with light brown hair and dark glasses that covered her eyes. She carried a white cane, sweeping gently ahead of her. Daniel froze, unsure what to do. "You shouldn't be here, sweetheart," he said softly. "The building's closed." "I know," she stammered. "But I wanted to touch the piano. I can't see it, but I like to feel the keys." It sounds like magica. Something broke inside him then. He knew that voice. Soft, curious, aching for something she'd never seen. The same way his own daughter, Lily, had once spoken after her mother's death. He looked around. No one else was there. Slowly, he walked to the piano and lifted the cover. "Go ahead," he whispered. "You can touch it." The girl smiled, running her fingers over the keys, pressing one, then another. "It's beautiful," she murmured. "But it doesn't make sense yet." Daniel knelt beside her. "Would you like to know how to make it sing?" She nodded eagerly. From that night, every evening after his shift, Daniel stayed an extra hour to teach her simple melodies. She learned quickly, so quickly it startled him. She couldn't see the notes, but she could feel them, memorize every sound, every tone. He didn't know her name for weeks, until she accidentally mentioned her driver waiting outside. "I'm Emma," she said one evening, giggling as she pressed a wrong note. "Emma," he repeated, smiling. "That's a pretty name. And you're Mr. Janitor," she teased, grinning. "Daniel," he corrected gently. Just Daniel. They shared something pure, music and understanding. Two souls healing through sound. But he didn't know that Emma was the daughter of Evelyn Carter, the CEO of Carter Enterprises, the same woman who had once shut down the Academy's funding department after her husband died, becoming known as the Iron Widow in the press. She was powerful, cold, and utterly alone. Evelyn had forbidden Emma from attending regular classes because of her blindness, believing no one could truly care for her daughter. She thought the world cruel, and she built walls high enough to keep it out. But one night, while reviewing security footage after reports of a janitor staying late, Evelyn saw something strange. Her daughter, laughing, playing piano with a man in uniform. For a moment, she wanted to fire him immediately. But as the sound of the music filled the room, she hesitated. The melody, it was the same lullaby her late husband used to hum to Emma as a baby. That night, Evelyn couldn't sleep. She returned to the academy, standing behind the glass wall above the music room. She watched as Daniel guided Emma's small hands, patient and gentle, never once treating her as less than anyone else. And for the first time in years, Evelyn's heart ached. Emma's world brightened. Every lesson made her happier, braver. She even began performing small tunes during school breaks. Daniel, meanwhile, found himself living again. Teaching her reminded him of the joy he'd buried since his wife died, but secrets don't stay hidden forever. One morning, the principal called Daniel into his office. Evelyn was there, impeccably dressed, expression unreadable. "Mr. Daniels," she began, her voice sharp as glass. "I've been informed you've been spending unsupervised time with my daughter. That's highly inappropriate." Daniel's stomach dropped. "Mom, she just wanted to learn. I wasn't trying to." "She's blind," Evelyn cut in. "She doesn't need false hopes or pity." Her words sliced through him, but before he could answer, Emma's voice came from behind the door. "He doesn't pity me, Mama. He makes me feel." Evelyn froze. Daniel turned, stunned. Emma stood there, holding her cane tight, trembling but firm. "You don't let me live," she cried. "But when I play with Mr. Daniel, I'm alive! Please, don't take that away from me." The room went silent. Evelyn's eyes flickered, old pain surfacing. She remembered her husband's laughter, her daughter's first song. She had buried her feelings deep under work and grief. But this man had somehow brought her daughter's soul back. That night, Evelyn returned again to the music hall, quietly standing behind the glass wall. Daniel was playing alone now. The melody was soft aching, a conversation between grief and hope. She felt tears slipping down before she could stop them. When he finished, he noticed her reflection in the glass. "You've been watching," he said softly. She didn't deny it. "You play beautifully," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Where did you learn?" "My wife," he said. "She taught me everything before she passed." Evelyn looked down, guilt washing over her. "I didn't mean to hurt you or Emma. I just didn't want her to suffer the way I did." Daniel nodded quietly, but shielding her from life is another kind of suffering. The truth sank in. Slowly, she approached the piano and placed her hand on the keys. "I used to play," she murmured, "before everything fell apart." Daniel smiled faintly. "Then maybe it's time to start again." Weeks later, the music hall filled once more, this time with parents, students, and teachers. On stage, Emma sat at the piano, her mother beside her, and Daniel behind the curtain. Together, they played a duet, the same melody that had once connected two broken hearts in silence. As the final note faded, the audience rose to their feet, clapping thunderously. Emma smiled toward the sound, tears of joy streaming down her face. Evelyn reached for her daughter's hand, and for the first time in years she smiled, softly, genuinely. Up in the balcony, Daniel stood alone, quietly watching. He didn't need applause. The sight before him was enough. A blind girl who could now see the world through music, and a cold mother who had finally found warmth again. And though he turned to leave the hall quietly, Emma's voice called out, clear and bright, "Mifref. Daniel, thank you for giving me music and giving my mom her heart back." He stopped, closed his eyes, and smiled. The janitor's hands, once rough and weary, had not just cleaned floors, they had cleaned souls.